Yo, 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 ladies and gentlemen. You are with DjTmoS on the one-on-one with DjTmoS. And today, my special guest is going to be Cornelius. And we're going to talk about some shit. And then we're going to talk about some more shit. So, get ready to join the conversation.
Username Oshay.
All right, Oshay. Okay, so what you want to talk about today? What's on your mind?
Well, let's talk about educated. Well, you know what? That Sandra, we can talk about black women, educated black women, and then not being able to find love. I think that's a really good topic because there's a disparity.
Let's do it.
All right.
Give some examples.
Well, so as we know, there's approximately 45 million African Americans, or who we would consider to be African Americans in this country. So out of those 45 million, I believe there's about 24 million, 23 million of those are black women, 21 million are black men. So we have a surplus of African American women in our country, and we have not a lot of men. So what happens typically in any culture, usually the woman is what's sought after. If you were to go over to Turkey, anywhere in the Middle East, places like that, women are really valued in that society. But in America, when you have a surplus of women, and you see this happening in the Ukraine and in Russia, well, what happens is that the man understands that he has options.
Okay.
So, and so then if a man has the option to not get married, if he has the option to date and still get the benefits of being married with multiple women, this is what he'll choose. So we're starting to see this type of phenomenon happen in the black community. And not only that, let's take into account that black men are heavily promoted, even though it is a negative image a lot of times, but it is an image of athleticism, hypermasculinity, muscular body, very masculine traits. So what happens is that black women are not only competing against each other for black men, they're competing with other races of women for black men.
True.
We also want to talk about, I know the white supremacy is a total different topic, but in the system of white supremacy, where I believe that there is a system to fail black men. So we do have black men coming up in lesser economic situations, and they're more prone and likely to go to single parent homes or be born in single parent homes. They're more likely to go to prison. So we have 1 million black men that's in prison. Okay. And so then you have your black men who are identify themselves as being homosexual or gay. So when you look at black women who, on the contrast, they are not very desired in American culture. Now, granted, a sexy black woman is a sexy black woman. Now that means that anybody would want a fine woman.
Yeah.
A woman that looks good looks good. But on average, black women are the less likely to marry. They're the least likely for men to want to date them. So when you take all that into accountability, with all things being equal, you have a big problem. Now let's talk about black women who are going to college, going to better themselves, and black men not doing as well as black women. So
aren't black women graduating at the highest rate?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So if you take all your colleges and universities right now, 10% of all students enrolled at colleges and universities in the United States, 10% are black women. So you think about that, that's actually a large number. So if you go to Harvard, 1 out of 10 students is a black woman. Okay. You go to Stanford, 1 out of 10 students. And if you go to some place like Howard University, 3 out of 5 students. Okay. Grambling, Southern Xavier, places like this. So now you have black women in the surplus, and then you have black women who are actually doing better than black men economically. Yeah. These black women have been taught or somehow believe that they're going to marry somebody on the same level. Well, what happens is on the other side of the equation, black men are not coming up to speed with the black woman.
Yep.
So now you have a surplus of women who are, very educated, economically savvy, good jobs in corporate America, your lawyers, your doctors, your engineers. They don't have the equivalent to marry now. So this is the big thing that's been going on in the black community. So I think that's a great topic because we both know somebody that's like this.
Yep.
And can speak to that. Why don't you talk to about the person that we both have an experience with?
Well, this individual is a doctor. What field is she in? I can't remember.
She's a gynecologist.
Okay. So she's a highly educated African-American woman who went to a great college in the South. And she is in her mid-30s, and she has not been married, and she has not had children. She's an attractive woman, but she is having problems finding someone to marry. And that's something that she really wants, but she's having issues trying to find that. Now, why? I'm not sure. Maybe there's not a very good dating pool where she's at. I don't know. I don't know this person too well. But I'm still trying to figure it out myself.
Right. I actually went to high school with this person.
Okay.
So this person is in the greater Philadelphia area. And then, so I think this is what's been happening. This is what the U.S. government wants. I know this is a conspiracy theory, but black women are, the black community is ran by and dominated by black women. So black women are not, as you're telling me earlier, they're not really realistic in their goals with the kind of men that they believe that they should date. And I say that to say this. A black woman believes that, the more I invest in my education and in my own self-independence, the more a man is going to be attracted to that. Okay? So it's whatever kind of logic that they told themselves that, I guess that could make sense, maybe.
On paper, it sounds good.
Exactly. It's like the Oakland Raiders. They look good on paper every year and they can't win a game. This is the same thing that's happening with black women. They're going to the medical school. They're going to pharmacy school. They're going to law school. And they're doing well. And some of them are gorgeous, man. They look beautiful. Some of them are chemists. Some of them are just drop-dead gorgeous.
Yeah.
But the whole problem is that when you ask him, why are you not married? Well, he has to be a certain he has to be a certain height. He has to have a certain collegiate education. He has to have these things. Well, when we talk about black men and the competitiveness for black men, well, yeah, those black men ideally can exist, but why does that black man is not obligated to date black women?
Exactly.
That's the thing. So we have to understand you have probably the most sought after man besides the white men. Black men are very, very, very highly sought after. Now you have black women who are not highly sought after. So now what happens is a successful black woman is not competing with the black men just amongst other black women.
Yeah.
You're competing against Persian women, Asian women, white women,
Brazilian women.
Brazilian women. And then you have to understand these black men have dealt with black women and have had bad experiences sometimes. Because a lot of these guys who are, maybe they're ugly in high school, maybe they, didn't get a lot of attention in high school. Now these guys have grown up. They're 7 inches taller. They have 45 more pounds of muscle. And now they have good jobs. They're not obligated to stay in the United States. These guys can travel. They can go to Brazil. They can go to China. So all of this is a dilemma for black women now.
That's true.
And I believe this has to do with why a lot of them are so upset.
That's true. I think women in general some of them have some high expectations for the kind of guy that they want, but for some weird reason, black women have hit a kind of a wall with this. In my personal experience as black women, given the opportunity, they will want some unrealistic things. I'm just saying personally, I'm not going to generalize because I've never met every black woman ever, but I feel like a lot of people have very high expectations that aren't realistic. Like some women might say, "Oh, I need a man who wants to be a man," da, 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 but these same women sometimes want to wear the pants, and they don't want to allow a man to actually be a man. So that might be a dilemma in some of these situations. And I also consider sometimes that I might meet the perfect type of black woman that I would like somewhere at, say, like a college like Howard or something like that, like like-minded individuals that talk the way that I talk. So I don't know, it's a pretty crazy uneven balance that's going on.
And to go back to your point, that because we live in a matriarchal society in the black community, where women have the power. If you look at all the protesters, a lot of our civil rights activists now, those who organize the church, even though they may not be the pastor, the women have the power in the black community.
Yep, that's true.
And because they're used to having power, they're not used to, because of feminism and the rights that they have now, they're not typically too easy to give up the power to a man. And so a lot of times, a lot of these women, when they are very successful, they do really good in school, and they get that degree, and they can say, "Look at me, look at what I've done. I don't have to be subservient to a man." Well, then what happens is when you give a black man that attitude, and let's say if a black man was on the same level or just under you, if you make $200,000 a year and a black man makes $90,000 a year, well, if he makes $90,000 a year, he doesn't have to deal. He's not obligated to deal with black women. And so what happens is not only do you have that, it's good that you have the education, but what men look at in women is, can we get along? Do we have the same interest? Are you gonna let me be able to do? Are you gonna support me as a man? And are you gonna let me be a man? And sometimes, if you have all of that education, and you're not gonna be able to do that, a man that has sense will say, "You know what? Hey, you can keep what you have." Because I know as a man, as I get older, I have more value than you. You're gonna get older. You may have a baby. You'll decline. I can still get a chick who looks 10 years younger than you. And so I think this is it's not the fact that they're going to school and being educated, it's the fact that they have an attitude that they do. And the attitude is, I'm better than you. And it turns a lot of men off.
Yeah, but I feel like I've gotten that attitude with women who didn't have shit. I just felt that exact same way, but it's just that some people reach that level where it's like, I'm just too good for anything, but those people end up being pretty unhappy and not being able to find anybody.
And it goes probably to the point of the person that and I'm not saying that she's unhappy, but you can see that she's very offended if you mention anything about white women and black men. Now, let me speak to this point, DjTmoS. You know my position on black men dating white women.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm not really fond of it, only for the fact that I believe that as a black man, you're more likely to be able to find a mate than a black woman is. Okay, but it's not what black women look like typically. Now, I know a lot of them are obese or whatever, but it's not really what they look like that deters them from a relationship. It's really how they see themselves in relation to a man. Black women do not really respect black men, and what happens is that a lot of these chicks who come from single parent homes are now matriculating into higher society, into medical school, and so now you're trying to pair up with a man, and you've never seen a man, so you don't know how to react to a man. You don't know how to respect a man. And so when you get a man in your life, you don't understand your role as a woman, and you definitely don't understand his role as a man.
Exactly.
And this is why black men go out and date women, and sometimes you see him at the store. You see a black dude, and he's like, why is he with this big white girl, or why is he with this unattractive Asian woman? Well, it's probably because she has enough sense to, work with him, encourage him, support him. Black women are not typically like that all the time, because a lot of them are coming from broken homes, so they don't understand that part.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I look at, especially in the black community, I look at how her mom is so I can know how she's going to be. Because women learn from women, like, very, very easily. But, I mean, there's nothing wrong with chicks have higher standards, especially if they went to school and they did that, this, that, and the other. I completely understand where they come from. But then when they meet a man, they don't actually let him be a man, or they just don't respect him. And that is something that I feel that I've come across personally with members of our community, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, it's almost like you're singing to the choir. And you know me for some time.
Mm-hmm.
I knew you when I was still matriculating to the California State University system at Sacramento.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, I'll be the first to say that even though I did meet a different caliber of black woman when I was there, and could have gotten married to a chick, and sometimes I kind of regret that I didn't do it.
Mm-hmm.
So I know that those chicks exist, but overall, even the chicks that are in college at the university level, they still don't know what a real man is. They
Mm-hmm.
They don't know.
It starts with family.
So when you're, when you're talking to chicks, and like I said, their background is very important because being successful, having a great career, and typically if you think about it, a lot of chicks who have great careers are not attractive. It's almost like what Tom Likas says. Most chicks who are attractive get husbands to take care of them.
Yep, that's true.
And if so you're getting a large plethora of women who are average to subpar looking that have an attitude.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, now don't grant it. You'll see a sexy chick every now and then who looks like a model who happens to be an engineering student.
Yeah,
and then that makes the cover of Sports Illustrated because it's our Playboy because it's not common.
Yeah.
But if you go to engineering classroom and you see a woman there, or women in physics or women in biology, typically these girls are not cute. They're not attractive.
One thing somebody told me a long time ago, that if you're an ugly woman, you've got to try even harder than a man to succeed.
Oh yeah, absolutely. A man can be unattractive. A man could be overweight. But if a man is focused on what he's trying to do, women are attracted to men who are powerful. They're attracted to men who have a know-how about themselves, and a man who knows where he's going.
Yep.
A woman, men do not think like that about women.
Nope.
You could be attractive all you want and know where you're going. That does not mean we're going to date you.
Exactly.
And because all things related equal, if a man is making $100,000 a year and you're making $500,000 a year, well, men don't require much.
Exactly.
We don't require brand new cars. We don't require makeup. We don't require a large shopping sprees. We're okay with a little apartment or a little home and an okay car. We could save our money, and men do typically save more money than women do. So, we're able to go across the country and make our money work for us in business and stuff like that. We don't need to have a woman who has more money than us. It's not necessary.
Exactly.
And so that's the thing that women, especially black women, have to understand, is that the black men who are intelligent, they're going to weigh their options. They're not going to just stick to black women. Yep. Especially if they have a bad experience.
Exactly.
You go through a couple of bad experiences with black women, and then you try to approach a black woman for whatever reason. It's a big attitude thing. But you talk to a white girl, Asian woman, you see how much it's easier dealing with them. You start to become attracted to what's a positive experience.
Yep.
So some guys say, you know what, I'm an engineering major at UC Davis. Hey, I tried to date black women, it's not working out. I'm gonna just stick to dating Asian women. And Asian women love those guys.
Yep.
And they'll run their bath water. They'll cook their food. They'll cook their breakfast.
Rub your back when you get home.
Yeah, they'll do everything. They'll have all those guys' kids. They'll stay in shape for these guys.
Yep.
They'll keep their figure up.
Yep.
Black women, it's a little bit of a different approach. You have to get a very special type of black woman, which is like, you can find them. They're out there. Believe me, but you have to do a lot of work.
Yeah.
It's easier to find a subservient Asian woman or white woman.
Yep.
And I'm not saying subservient meaning that I am your God, and you must do what I tell you.
Open-minded.
Open-minded, and will not try to challenge a man or as aggressively.
Yep, I was explaining. It's funny you say that. I was explaining that to somebody earlier today. It's not that I don't like black women. It's just easier to find what I like in other races. Granted, where I'm at. Like, for instance, a couple of weeks ago, you were saying that you went to a school down south, and it was a different atmosphere. Like, tell us about that. What school was that you went to?
Well, I actually didn't go to school, but I went to. You mean when I did go to the school?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I went to Howard University in Washington, D.C. So this was the first time that I got to see black students that come from third or fourth generation dentist families.
Okay.
Third or fourth generation physician families. Third or fourth generation attorney, meaning that my dad's attorney, my mom's attorney, my granddad was an attorney, my great granddad was an attorney. Okay, so when you see black people like that, and you see the offspring of these black women, it's a lot different than dealing with the typical chick you deal with, let's say in Sacramento, because these chicks who are going to Howard or let's say Stanford University, a lot of these chicks come from excellent homes. You know, their dad went to Vanderbilt, and he was a mechanical engineer. One of the girlfriends I had, her mom went to Vanderbilt and was an attorney. Man. So when you produce a black woman that comes from a family like that, she is more open to a lot more things than the typical black chick on the street. But understand that when you live in the city in the West Coast, let's say if you live in Seattle or Sacramento or Los Angeles, it's very difficult for you to find a black woman who comes up in a middle class or wealthy family. It's just very difficult. Now, if you can get a black woman who comes up in that kind of situation, raised in the suburbs, man, you know. You know, it's good because now you have a mentor on her side of the family. And now you have something that you can build with, and you can link your family with that. That's an awesome thing. But a lot of us guys, your average guy, you're dealing with a chick that works at a call center. You're dealing with a chick who works at Gap. You're dealing with a chick who works at Walmart. Or you're dealing with a chick who's going to junior college. Maybe she already has a son. So you don't have a lot to work with. And so when you deal with a chick that's, that kind of thinks that nobody cares about her, nobody's ever cared about her, she doesn't have much to lose. So she's going to give you an attitude, she's going to give you these things, and she's not going to be as supportive in trying to help you reach your goal. So my suggestion would be, to black guys who do like black women, don't be afraid to step outside of your comfort zone. Go to raves, for example. Go skiing. Go golfing. You'll see black women who participate in these things. It's a lot easier for you to approach black women who are on the golf course. Who are on the ski resort. It just works in your favor versus going to the club. Or you going to TGI Fridays. Because now, you're not really, you're kind of just, you may be just getting the typical chick that you can't do nothing with, but have sex with.
That is very true. That is very true. So, sometimes in these forums, I always tell people, everything I say is based on my experiences, but I also know not to generalize. I know that there are some really awesome black women somewhere, but we live in a city full of a lot of ratchet and what I would call niggas. And just to kind of differentiate what the difference between a nigga and a black person is, niggas are people who like to perpetuate evil and retarded crabs in the barrel type activities, which I've explained to people. And then there's black people like us, like educated African Americans that aren't about some bullshit. So we have a lot of niggas out here, so it's very hard to find the kind of black women that we would be interested in here.
Exactly. And don't get me wrong, a lot of these women who come out of these I would say households, they're nice chicks. And I want to just tell you guys there's something here. A lot of women are not emotionally available for you to date. It's a difference between being single and emotionally available. Okay? Because a lot of these women are not emotionally available. They have not been emotionally available to their dad left them, or since their baby dad left them, or since somebody really broke their heart. Okay, they may be single, but they're not emotionally available to you. Okay, and so because they're not emotionally available to you, they may be very beautiful, they may look good, but they're not the kind of woman that's good for a relationship. So what happens is you get with a chick 5 or 6 different times that's not emotionally available. She happens to be black. Well, most black guys will say, you know, I'm done with black chicks. Yeah, that's typically it. But you know, you have your sisters out there, Philadelphia, New York, D.C., Baltimore, Houston, Texas, Atlanta. You know, even some places in Oakland. You know, on the Stanford campus and UC Berkeley campus. Yeah, these black women who understand that a black intelligent man is something of value. Yep. You have to be where you are valued. You should not have to prove yourself to a woman to prove to her that you are a valuable person. Okay? Because no matter if you're a millionaire or a PhD in physics and you're a black guy, you can be worthless to somebody. Some chicks don't see any value in you at all. Yep. Some chicks would just rather you be the regular dude on the street. And they're just hooked on a hood nigga. Yep. You know? They have low standards. You can love a chick, and she can be everything in the world, but if she can't value your work ethic, what it took for you to be where you're at, that chick will never appreciate you. So what happens is, as black men, we're dating the chicks who, you know, yeah, we do get along with, but they don't value what it's taken for us to get so far. So then you get upset because you picked the wrong woman to try to go after. Like I said, like-minded people do like things. So if you're a guy who's you're into computers, you're into World of Warcraft and stuff like that, or you know, you're into different things, it behooves you to find people that are like you. If you like black women and that's your preference, you have to get around people who are like yourself. Exactly. That's just what it is. Yeah.
When I was in Seattle, I met this girl named Toya, and she was black. At the time, I had just, maybe like a year before that, I got a relationship with a really crazy black chick. I mean, like, your total stereotype, just fucking violent, just aggressive, Section 8, 3 kids by 3 different dudes, like a situation I should have never gotten in. I swore that I would never date black women again. One time I was at this hipster bar and this little 5'1", 100-pound black chick walked up to me and we were having just a regular old conversation, and then she said, yeah, you know, I'm about to do my first DJ set tonight. I said, oh, you're a DJ. You know, I'm a DJ. And we started talking about music and similar interests, and she ended up being like one of the dopest chicks I've ever met. You know, we went on quite a few adventures, and you know, like you said, like-minded individuals. So sometimes it's a little bit harder to find that type of, you know, chick in our community, but they're out there, and I've met a handful of them so far.
Right. And you know, that's just the thing. You know, a black woman who can respect the fact that, especially if you're a guy who's working hard, you know, maybe you're not the guy that's driving the brand new car. Okay? Maybe you're the guy who's working every day. Maybe you're going to school. Maybe you're doing these things. Okay? To me, it's not, I don't think that it's your job as a man to be going up to different chicks who look good, and approaching them to sell yourself to these women. Okay? Because to me, that's a waste of your time, and it's a waste of your effort. I think that it's in your best interest to keep building yourself up, getting yourself to the next level, and as a man, understand that as you get to that level, a different plethora of women who are upscale will be able to come to you, and that will be, you know, all different colors, you know, Asian, black, white, so on and so forth. Yeah. And another thing too I want to talk to you guys about, a lot of black men are so stuck up on looks, okay, and I made this mistake. I love ass. I love big breasts. Okay? Sometimes a lot of good-looking black women who are going to be okay with you, they may not be a red-bone, light-skinned chick. She may not have the biggest butt. You know? She may be just a thin chick. You know? She doesn't have a lot of body. She may have a cute face. there's this chick on YouTube. Her name is Kristen Carrison. And she's a beautiful woman. She's like 40 years old. She's now married to a white guy, and she's has this website called Beyond Black and White. And all she talks about is swirling and getting black women to date white men.
Yeah.
Because it's so hard for black women to date black men, something like that. But she's a chick. She said, "Hey, black men did not want me. They were not attracted to me."
Man.
And she sounds very educated. She has a garden. She's a chick that that's a lot of chicks don't do stuff like that. She's a different type of chick. She wears her natural hair. And, that chick is with a white guy. I think that black dudes, we're so hung up on the big ass, the big butt, the twerkers, and a lot of women do have big ass butts. I mean, I like ass. But don't pass up a chick who is still pretty in the face. She may not have big breasts. She may not have the biggest butt. But, hey, this chick is you're gonna be able to get along with her. Hey man, you get her, bend her over. Your dick's still gonna get hard. She's slim. She's not gonna get fat on you. I mean, you have an opportunity to date a different type of chick that's maybe not what you like all the time, and that's okay to give up some things for a chick who's gonna fit into your program. And that's an important thing. Understand where you're trying to go, what you're trying to do, and you select the woman that you want that fits into what? Your program.
Yeah.
Don't get a chick that's not a good fit for your program. You need to get a chick that's going to fit what you need. And I'm not trying to say you need to change her, because you can't, but get a chick who's okay without you changing her to fit into your program.
Yep.
But
it works vice versa as well. Vice versa. It's very interesting. Very interesting. So, what else is on your mind, Oshay?
Well, what I would like to say is, another thing that we have that's going on, is there are black women out there, especially if you're a black woman listening to this podcast. If you're interested in knowing what black men want, please do not take advice from other black women.
Especially single women.
Yeah.
That goes for all women. Don't take advice from a single woman.
Don't take advice, because if you're a black woman, and I'm not trying to be rude, you have to understand there are more black women than there are eligible black men. Okay? My mother and my father taught me an important lesson in life. And they told me this: son, if you ever want to get anywhere in life, it is imperative that you plan for the best result. So if you're a black woman and you want to get married to a man, you need to put this into plan, just as you would if you were going to college, just as you would if you were doing weight loss. You need to plan ahead to get yourself the best possible man that you can get. Now, you may not get everything that you want. Okay, now I understand that. This is a compromise. But if I'm a woman and I'm 20 years old, I want to be married by 26. I'm gonna have a better plan than the next chick.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna be trying to look the best I can, be in the best possible shape. Be around the best kind of organizations that I can be around. If you like professional black men, you subscribe to things like NAACP, 100 Black Men. That's typically in every city. You would do the Urban League. You want to put yourself in situations where there are men that are going someplace that you can be around these type of men. You want to have a plan together. Don't think that because you're a woman and you're doing these things that men are going to approach you for marriage. No, men are only going to approach you these days. Typically, it's for sex, because men don't want to get married typically anymore. You see the numbers in the United States are declining, especially black men. Understanding that they have options, they don't need to get married. So a lot of the things that you think that you have as a professional woman, you have to work on things to become an eligible wife. Okay, you can't just say like there's a lady named Deborah Cooper. She's an old lady, and she tells black women that hey, if a man doesn't like this about you, fuck him. You know, he should just, go and this, that, whatever. And what I want to tell you, ladies, is this. Just like you work hard at becoming a physician, just like you work hard in modifying what you need to do to become a doctor or a lawyer, if you have a bad strategy in studying, you change it so that you can pass the class.
Yep.
This is the same thing that you must do if you want to get a top-notch man. Understand that you have to work on yourself and your development as a woman to be a wife as much as you work on your career. Because what will happen is, if you do not work on your attitude on becoming a wife, your attitude in becoming a caregiver for a man, what you will have is you will not have a man. You will actually get beat out by a chick who doesn't have what you have. Yep. Maybe she isn't as good looking as you. Maybe she doesn't have the education as you. But she can cook every night for her man. she can clean. She's supportive. She can do these things. And because she's worked on becoming a wife more than you have, she's going to be able to beat you to that. Don't think that because you went to school and you're attractive and you have a nice ass, you're automatically going to get married. Because you're not. You have to really work on your life skills.
That's true. That just kind of reminds me of the Japanese culture. How a lot of the women there are professionals, working professionals, and so are the men. And they have a decline in their population because they tend not to date or have sex. And the women, on one hand, are saying, yeah, I'll get married if he takes care of me the rest of my life, and I'll just stay home and take care of the kids, but he's got to take care of everything, which sounds great. But a lot of the Japanese men are like, that's a lot of work. I don't think that I want to do that. So a lot of people down there aren't getting married, and their population's in decline. Matter of fact, things are so bad there that I do believe 61% of the women believe that sex in a relationship isn't necessary at all. 51% of the men believe the exact same thing.
What? In Japan?
In Japan. And I saw a documentary about this. These are facts. And some of the men are, they're really into cartoons, and they're into game programs that are like designed to be their girlfriends, and they take it seriously. Like, this is like a real phenomenon down there. But yeah, the women there are highly educated. They're doing their thing, but nobody wants to marry them because, they don't want to work and, attribute to the family. They just want to stay at home and take care of the kids, which is a hard job, but it just is a lot of, you got to do a lot to be able to get married down there. It's a lot. It's pretty difficult, but to each its own, I guess.
This is what I'll say. And as a man, being a little bit older, 34, I used to think that, a woman would have to accept me as I am without me even changing because I'm a man and whatever. And I understand that there are modifications that I have to make about myself when it comes to women. So I want to say this, that it's not a man's job to make a woman want to stay in the home. It's not a man's job to want to make the woman cook every night, in my opinion, or clean everything.
Exactly.
I think that in this day and age of where we are right now with women and women's rights, a man would be a fucking fool to believe that if he wants a woman or a wife, that you're going to suppress the rights that the U.S. government has given her. So, I don't think that that's in your best interest as a man to want to belittle a woman to do that.
Exactly.
At the same time, I think that, to encourage the woman, to want to support her, to want to help her out and build a team. Now, while you're still the patriarch of the family, you're guiding a lot of the decisions, but obviously you're letting her do her thing too. And the thing I think that a lot of women, especially the black women, they don't get that part. I know we keep coming back to that, but they just don't get that they need to be able, that when you get a man, it's okay to back off. Okay? Men who are educated, we understand that you have worked really hard to get to where you are. Now, we are not in Iran. We are not in Morocco. We're not in Egypt. We're not in a Arabic nation where Saudi Arabia won't even let women drive cars.
Exactly. Yep. Can't even go outside alone.
We're not making you. We understand that you have a lot of rights. Okay, we understand. We're not trying to take any of those rights away from women. But what we're trying to say is, black men, give us the right to lead our families. Give us the right to not just want us to be there, just to financially take care of you. You run everything and run over us. You know, if we want sex, it's your job duty to do that.
Says it in the Bible.
You know, it's your job duty to do that. You know, it's our job to protect you, and it's your job to benefit us. And I think a lot of women want things, black women, they want things on their terms. And here's the thing: you can pick a dude to have sex with, but you can't make him marry you. The men decide who get married, not black women. Okay, because black women want a guy to propose to you, and if it's not happening, it's because you don't make that man feel like he can spend the rest of his life with you. That's what it is. So you need to think about, what can I do to make men think I am the one and they don't need another woman they can commit to. If you don't make a man feel like that, you're doing something wrong.
Yep.
You know, and you have to put your career aside. It goes back to, what are you working on as a woman? What are you bringing to the table besides your financial things? What are you bringing emotionally? Because men need to be emotionally supported too.
This is true. All right. Well, what else do you have to add to this? We're about to end the show in 5 minutes. Any extra tidbits?
You know, I said, I just want to say in the ending of the podcast, it's a great thing. I love coming on DjTmoS' show. And like I just said, there are a lot of beautiful men. There are a lot of beautiful African American women that are out there that are competitive. I know that a lot of black men have a serious disdain for black women, going back to how, you know, in the 80s and the 90s, you know, black women were really shitting on black men pretty hard on talk shows. And, you know, when the internet came of age, now black men can voice their opinion. Yeah. So it's been long overdue, because it's been, you know, black men have been beat up in the media for a long time. Definitely. Now black men can say how they feel about their own women, and I think if you get a lot of guys bashing black women, there has to be some truth to it. And I think as women, instead of you getting offended by it, I think that it is in your best interest to say, wow, okay, well, men, this, you know, I got to be honest with myself. I do act like this sometimes. Yep. Or I do this sometimes. That's a good point. What can I do to change that? And it's all about just making yourself the most competitive applicant, just like you would do for your medical school application or a college application. When you want a husband that is a decent man, a lot of other women want that same man. You know, so you have to understand, when you're competing against a top-notch guy, there are thousands of women who look better than you, who are younger than you, who have a bigger butt than you, who have bigger breasts than you, who are competing for that guy. What makes you so different? That he should spend the rest of his life with you as you get older, as you get more unattractive, as you possibly get bigger. You know, watch, and then you can take 50% of his stuff in a divorce. Why? I mean, I'm just saying, a lot of men are not getting married because you don't, you know, after a while, you don't make me feel like that you are worth me losing half my shit for. And when you can make a man say, you know what, I'm willing to risk it all on this woman, even if I lose half my shit, that's a great woman. Yep. You know? Good point. That's a great woman. And a lot of these chicks, they're just not willing to work for marriage. They're willing to work for their homes, their cars, their careers, but they don't put that effort into getting a man, and then they get mad that they don't have a man. If you don't have a man, ultimately the person that you can blame is you. You know, I know there's not a lot of black men out there. I know that, but still, at the end of the day, you know, you got into medical school. Out of, you know, 50 spots, there was 3,000 applications. You beat the odds then against other qualified applicants. So when you talk about marriage, you're actually, you know, you have a better chance of getting married than you do getting in medical school. So So who's the problem? The problem is you. So that's all I have to say.
All right. Well, thank you for tuning in to One on One with DjTmoS, and we will be back every week. And look out for the Walkalanius and DjTmoS show coming to you very, very soon. Peace.
Peace.